This. Hello everybody, welcome to the Morning Metro, May 8th, 2017. We are, of course, your hosts, Gert21 and the Gertron. Hello Gertron, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. It's been a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend. It's a wonderful life in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a little bit tired myself. I was up late again as usual, and I think I ended up actually falling asleep around like 4 a.m. and got up at like 10. So I'm gonna be a little sluggish, just a little bit. I've got water this time because last time I didn't. I was actually dealing with allergies, which I took allergy medicine too, so I won't be like, struggling. There we go. Yeah, but yeah. So I got allergy stuff. I have water. I should be okay. And as usual, capture stuff off my laptop, so I'll be looking down at my laptop screen as usual again. But yeah, so so let's go ahead and get started, of course, with the weather. All right, so today's forecasts are predicting in the for just the daylight time, 61 in Washington. We're looking at 70 in Milford and San Francisco, 76. Midwest is looking at 83.
It's hot over here, by the way. It is hot.
Kansas is looking at 86 degrees Fahrenheit. How hot is it where you are, Gertron, if I may ask?
We're pretty close to Kansas City, so yeah, we'll probably say it's about the 86.
Wow. Yeah, here right now on Chrome, it says it's about 70 degrees Celsius. Feels wonderful outside, actually. It's breezy, it's sunny. There's actually it's great outside. It looks awesome. But
lucky you.
That's this morning's weather predictions. Tonight's forecast is looking down again as low in 43 in Washington. In San Francisco, looking at 52, and in Oklahoma, looking at 62. Also, 52 in San Francisco, 62 in Oklahoma. Kansas is going to see a low of 64, and just definitely kind of some lower 60s, 40s temperatures across most of the U.S. and stuff. So not too bad, honestly. I don't think that's I mean, it's definitely hot, but the lows are going to be pretty decent. So all right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and segue into our articles as I make a segue to my screen here. Okay, so first article. You guys might know of him, Mike Rowe, who does the the world's dirtiest jobs or something like that, or toughest jobs, is trying to actually, he's created, and as far as I understand, he's created some sort of like school, yeah, I heard that for a sec. He's created I guess you would say like an education or school or whatever, or vocational school to help kids get into, shop-based education. In public schools, you have like your shop class, learning welding, other types of industrial type of jobs and stuff. And what he's finding is that there's a lack of people, or a lack of kids rather, that know how to do some of this stuff. Let me read off my show notes here. Mike Rowe's on a mission to get people back to learning about tough, dirty jobs to help keep America running. According to FoxNews.com, trying to get people to start working with their hands and getting into shop class type of work, which watch some of the video. Taking art out of vocation because suddenly shop class was looked down upon. Let's watch some of this video here. It's kind of quiet for some odd reason, not sure really why. So if I can turn some of this up here, you guys may be able to hear this.
Hoping to fix the skills gap and
oh, come on. The video's getting stuck. There we go.
Vocational systems training by ditching the stigma that currently holds, well, at least the elites have against it. Here is Mike Rowe, works.
Oh, and thank you for the follow, Holland Dark. And good morning to you.
Good morning.
I got giddy there at the open.
Well, I'm flattered. Thank you. A little
dirty
giddiness
jobs.
Is just what the country needs.
It really is, and And I think we should be giddy about the prospects of a manufacturing renaissance, but we should be concerned, and you pinpointed this a long time ago, about the ability to fill these jobs.
It's just math, you know.
I'm going to play some of this because he got to a good, interesting part, actually, about it.
Had 300 dirty jobs over the course of 9 years. I shot in every state half a dozen times, and every single employer I talked to, even at the height of the recession, said the same thing. The hardest thing to do is find people who are willing to learn a skill that's actually in demand. I saw help wanted signs literally in every single state in 2009. And ever since, I've been looking at the math and saying to myself, you know, there just has to be another conversation that's going on with regard to the 5.6 million jobs that exist, that the majority of which don't require a college degree, that people, for whatever reason, are just not excited about. So many of those jobs go right to what you're talking about. They're construction, they're manufacturing, they're transportation, and they're sitting there. And if we don't do something about that first and foremost, I'm not really sure how we can have a broader, more sensible conversation about unemployment in general.
So basically what he's doing is that he's finding that a lot of people that, you know, nowadays in school, you know, they're more concerned about, like, you know, the testing and a lot of, you know, that Common Core education stuff. And the problem with that is that, you know, while it's, you know, it's okay to test kids, it's not teaching them anything.
No, it's not.
And, you know, I actually, ironically, I had a conversation with somebody. I don't want to play the rest of the video because of copyright and stuff. You guys can actually, here, let's go ahead and drop that link in the chat. You guys can watch out on your own time. Ironically, I was having a conversation with somebody at an event about a week ago or so, and we were talking about how that feels like that people or the kids just are being tested and all for the sake of either, you know, to say that, oh, we've got, you know, to keep our funding for the schools or whatever, but these kids aren't learning anything. Nope. And the problem is a lot of kids are actually starting to hate being, like, educated. And they're not enjoying what they're learning. They feel like once they get out of school, they're so burnt out they don't want to read anymore. I mean, how many kids have I met personally? They're like, oh, I'm too lazy, or I don't want to learn anything. It's because they're tested to death in school.
Yep.
And that's frustrating. And so because they're constantly just being tested in schools, they're not being taught that learning is a good thing. Then we end up having a shortage of kids who are not filling these jobs that keep America running, like welding, like construction, like, you know, all the other stuff. I mean, it's nuts. Gertrude, you can pick up on that. Yeah, I was good. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I remember back when I was in school, they still had shop class. Mm-hmm. From what I understand, most schools don't have shop class anymore. Most of your average schools don't. And that's unfortunate. Now, another thing I think about here is, unfortunately, your illegal immigrants and immigrants, I'm going to point towards Mexicans mainly here. I've got no problem with Mexicans, so
we love you, Mexico.
As long as they're legal. If they're illegal, then I got an issue. They're the ones taking the dirty jobs for the most part, because your average American, they don't want to take the dirty jobs. I mean, how many times have you gone to a hotel and you've seen, they might not be an immigrant, but they're Mexicans who run the dirty jobs, the cleaning up the rooms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because, well, we don't want to do it.
Right. Yeah.
That makes it kind of crazy. And as far as Common Core goes, Common Core just is stupid.
It's so useless, honestly, because all it does is just testing the kids to just for the sake of what? Testing? I mean, it hasn't sounded like
it's all money. It's all money. You see, a school gets X amount of money based on how well the school tests. So if
that's the case, then just have the teachers take the test. I mean.
Well, you see, and the teachers don't like this either, because then they're basically told, okay, it's a standardized test. They can only teach on these certain things. I mean, they may add in some other things in there if they can, but for the most part, they're sticking to whatever the government has decided is a requirement, and that's why, I mean, we're not top in the world as far as education goes. I'd have to look into it, but I think it's China or Japan or maybe both. I mean, I know they're both a lot smarter than us because of how they run things.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, that's just really becomes a problem because, and actually, I think it was something my mom read a long time ago said that, like we're one of the most, like, illiterate countries, surprisingly enough. This is, you know, despite all the things that we have in America. I mean, I'm one of those people that, like, I was just telling a friend of mine before the show started that my search for knowledge is, like, bottomless. Like, I'll be up, like, I'll be up for, like, I don't know, as late as 3 a.m. just looking up, you know, multiple subjects at once because I just love learning, you know, and I love educating myself and just knowing, you know, and I was a homeschooler, by the way. Homeschoolers for the win. You know, my mom taught me growing up, and, you know, I was taught that, you know, learn all you can, you know, read as much as you can, you know, be an expert in that particular subject. And that's what I did. That's how I live my life. It's just, you know, constant learning because, you know, you never know what kind of job you're going to have in the end. And you might as well just learn as much as you can while you're doing it. Whatever it is that you're doing, you know? So, I mean, and I really wish there was a way that, like, you know, maybe not like as a whole, but maybe just like, I guess maybe as a whole, like, find a way to tell kids, you know what, learning really is worthwhile out of school. Like, there really is some really cool things to learn. But unfortunately, then the kids' mindset is just like, oh, these tests, and I'm tired. The kids are getting burned out before they've even finished school.
Oh, yeah.
And it's unfortunate.
How many times in math class, when you were being taught a particular math, let's say the quadratic equation, how many times have you been like, why are you teaching me this? I probably will never use this in my entire life. I can say right now, I've never used a quadratic equation in my entire life, but I remember it.
Yeah, I know. I never learned it.
You're lucky.
I actually never even learned algebra. Because
oh yeah, you were homeschooled. Well,
no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. It was because of where at the time my career path was going and still is going. That, like, algebra wasn't something in particular that my mom felt that I needed. So I didn't actually learn.
That is great. That's how school should be teaching. In my opinion, I think when you go to school, there should be some basic stuff that you need to learn. You know. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, some history, some English, and all the basics. But once you reach a certain age, it should be like, okay, so what are you interested in life? And then you should be then taken to classes that are going to help out with that.
I mean, love that. Yeah,
still get some of the basic stuff that you need. But honestly, if you're not intending on becoming a physicist or going into a position that you're going to need to know a whole bunch of math.
You heard it here, folks. Kids, Gertrude and Grade 21 are going to change the educational system forever. Said first on the Morning Metro. No, but I agree with you wholeheartedly. In fact, my friend Archie, I think now the British education system, I think, has it that they'll try to help kids, I think, in their career path or whatever. Like, they make kids decide, I guess, what their educations or what their job is going to be. And I think they try to, like, I don't quote me on this, I think that they try to help the kids figure out their career paths even while they're in high school. But even if they don't, they still should, because kids, when you're younger, obviously, and even in your early teens, whatever, you're going to change a little bit, like, what you're into. For the longest time, I vote for you on
Congrats, Grid, you got a vote.
All right, awesome. Grid 21, 2K 2020, I don't know, or something, I don't know, whatever.
No, that'll be Trump, by the way, but okay.
But no, when I was younger, I actually originally as a kid, I either wanted to be a construction worker or a train driver. Like a train engineer when I was younger. Okay. But as I got older and discovered how much now the reason why I wanted to be a construction worker, because I played with Legos a lot and was very skilled with Legos and still am to this day, honestly. Totally not tooting my own horn here. But you know, as I got older, I was like, yeah, I love media arts. I love doing like what we're doing right now. This is what I love, like right here, like just this whole production thing and stuff. So, you know, my interest changed as I got, you know, older and stuff. So, you know, I spent a lot of time working with computers during when I was homeschooled. I still do a lot of that even now. The whole video stuff, I definitely do a lot at my church. I do a lot, you know, outside of my church. I do all kinds of stuff. Yes, thank you for the joke there. Yes, I saw that. But yeah, so, you know, the education system really does need to help kids shape, you know, and parents need to help shape their kids in such a way that they know what they're going to do. They figure out what they want to do and what they're really passionate, interested in. And you know, if we want to keep America running, we've got to have people who are willing to do welding, who are willing to do construction, who are willing to do the really tough jobs, because someone's got to do it. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to keep this stuff running. So
this is true.
You know, and ironically enough, this next story actually does kind of segue into this. Speaking of keeping things running, San Francisco had a blackout. And this goes right along with jobs, learning how to handle things like a blackout in a city, because according to Wired.com, let me pull up my notes here. San Francisco experienced a major blackout a few weeks back. This is actually several weeks back now by this time. They managed to and how they managed to survive it. Wired.com reporters saying the cause of the blackout in San Francisco, firefighters raced toward a large power station or substation to put out a mini blaze that's been blamed for the whole mess. So essentially, they had a fire at a substation that actually put all of San Francisco out of commission for a couple hours on a Friday morning, I might add. And you know, it talked about in this article about how that, you know, they had to pull up backup plans, they had to figure out how to handle getting people to and from different locations, even, you know, people who might have been, you know, unfortunately, God forbid, stuck in an elevator. I mean, that I can't imagine what that must have been like. You know, they had to dust off contingency plans. You know, all this kind of stuff goes right along with, you got to, if kids are being taught how to handle, you know, situation awareness type of stuff, how can we survive stuff like this in our next generation? You know?
Oh yeah.
You know,
power goes out and kids are like, wait, my game went off. What do we do now?
Exactly. My Xbox is dead. My stream went dead. You know?
I mean, at some point, I don't know if anybody's ever seen the TV series called Revolution.
No, I haven't.
Basically, what had happened was the science team was messing with some sort of nanite of some sort, and there was an explosion. The nanites basically cut out all power.
Oh, wow.
No power was able to work at all, and they weren't able to get it back up either. So power was just gone. They're back in the Stone Age, basically.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, if something like that happened, well, maybe not the exact same thing, but if the power was out for several days, weeks, there would be a lot of people in the world that just would have no idea what to do.
And actually, you know, ironically enough, I think I was, I wish I remember, I think it was from computingforever.com that talked about how that, like, most of the kids that are born in this generation have no idea how to start a fire even in the wilderness to survive. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to, you know, do any of that stuff, you know, and you know, and because of that, you know, kids don't, you know, they don't really know what to do with themselves when this situation happens, you know, and this goes right back to our first story here. The education system stinks. Yes. You know, but it is so important. I mean, if any kid watches this and you're in your, like, you know, middle teens, whatever, I know school burns you out. I understand, you know, I know it's hard and stuff like that, but honestly, you will be so much more beneficial to not only yourself, but other people if you just spend a little bit extra time outside of school and educate yourselves. Now, that's not to say that every kid is like that. There are some people who I know who are who go to public school but are well educated outside of school. You know, so I mean, kudos to you guys. But for those of you who don't, please, I know it's hard, but just take the time. it is so worth it if you take the time to teach yourself. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and segue out of our job discussion and talk about something a little something different here. Okay, Intel overheating temperatures. Woo! It seems the i7. Okay, I'm gonna get my brain just to process this number. The i7 7700K is experiencing higher than normal temperatures. It seems. Let me quick read off my notes here. Intel is having issues with its processors overheating. PC Gamer reported as saying some owners of the Intel i7 7700 and 7700K processors have been complaining for the past 3 months of unusually high temperature increases. According to users, temps sometimes spike up to 90 degrees Celsius, close to the core. Did you edit this, by the way? I don't remember writing this. I don't remember reading half of it. I didn't type half of this. Okay, well, somebody.
I don't know.
All right, magic happened. Okay. So basically, it was higher than the normal temperature's threshold of 100 degrees Celsius. The registers reports the register. Man, I was tired when I wrote this. Good grief. Okay, so I'm actually gonna skip my notes here and just go right to the article because Intel gave back a official statement, which was really just, as usual, corporate nonsense. Let me drop this link in the chat here. Let's see. Intel in our official voice. We appreciate the feedback you have provided and your patience as well as we investigate this behavior. The reported behavior of 7th generation Intel core processors showing a monetary temperature change. Monetary? It's 90 degrees Celsius, you fool! Oh man, I'm gonna fun with this today. Changes from the idle temperatures is normal. No, it is not normal for processors to go to 90 degrees Celsius. That is not monetary. It's normal while completing a task like opening a browser or an application or program. That's not what people are doing. They're idle. The processors are sitting idle. Man, somebody is really. This is again corporate America covering their butts as usual. Yeah. In our internal investigation, we did not observe. Of course, you wouldn't. Temperatures variation. A variation outside of the expected behavior, and recommend. I need to turn my brightness so I can read this. And recommends specifications. For processor specifications, please refer to the Intel Core i7 blah 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 processor specifications. No one cares, nobody ever reads that. Most motherboard manufacturers offer customized fan speed controls. That's not going to help the issue. You have a glitch in your hardware, get it right. That may allow for smoother transition of fan resolutions per minute, RPM. Duh, we all know what that is. Please consult your motherboard's manufacturer manual or website. That's not going to help the issue. You totally okay. So basically, Intel's like, it's not us, it's you, it's not our problem. I mean, I hate corporate America and their corporate jargon nonsense. We do not recommend running outside the processor specifications, such as by exceeding processor frequency or voltage specifications or removing of the internal heat spreader, sometimes called a delidding. These actions will avoid the processor's warranty. Okay, Intel, come here, Intel, come here. We need to have a talk. Okay. Intel. Actually, I'm going to go to my full face cam here and just temporarily... Okay. All right. Intel. Listen. You have a problem with your hardware. Okay? It is not the user. It's you. Get it right. Admit your fault.
And this is Intel.
Yeah.
Waka, waka, waka.
Oh man, that is so bad. Can we just sit and just laugh at this? Oh my gosh.
They are part of the government. There's a eel on the head, sucking our very brains.
Okay, all right. Seriously, let's talk about. Okay, let's talk about this. All right. Okay, what is? All right, what's going on here? I mean, why is Intel just throwing corporate jargon out as usual? I mean,
money. It's all about the money. If they say yes, our chips are having issues, and we have to dish out X amount of dollars now to fix said chips. Hopefully, it's not a hardware thing. It's just they just need to send out some sort of driver update that'll fix it. But if it's a hardware thing, and they know it's a hardware thing, that's a lot of money right there, because they can't send out an update to fix that. That means they have to recall all those processors and send out new processors at their cost.
Which is overly expensive for them to replace.
Exactly. So right now, my thinking is it probably is a hardware thing. Because if it was a simple, driver update, they could just push that out and call it good. If it's a hardware thing, you're looking at, I don't know how much it costs them, but I'd imagine millions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, I think it's just a little bit disappointing that, like, and instead of actually fixing the issue, now actually, ironically, not too long ago, NVIDIA had the same issue. Actually, no, it was EVGA. Sorry, specifically, EVGA had the same issue, and they did it by pushing out a video card BIOS update, which I never heard of updating a video card's BIOS. That's kind of interesting, actually. But that's how they fixed it. Now, my question is it the motherboard manufacturer, or is it actually Intel that's having the issue? Because I know that I think it was Ryzen was having issues with, like, temperature increases, and they're still rolling out BIOS updates for the Ryzen 5, 7, and and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, are we looking at a hardware issue, or is this actually a BIOS issue that people are facing?
Well, I think on that point, that's just something we're going to have to wait and see. I don't have a chip over here, and I don't have the intelligence to be able to take the chip apart and say, yep, there's a hardware issue here. But I don't think it's going to be a motherboard issue, because if it was a motherboard issue, that's not Intel's fault, and the chip shouldn't be overheating, period. If they're following the right specifications for the cooling system.
Good morning, Castlemania. I'm sorry I reminded you that today was Monday. But yeah,
it is Monday.
Now, and it's really unusual for Intel to have these kinds of issues. Usually Intel usually has really solid chips and stuff. Oh, yeah. So I think it's kind of interesting. Now, the 7700 processors in the K version have been out for several months now. So do you think that there was a like a bad batch that got released? Like there were some before and then some later ones had bad batches, or suddenly we're seeing, I mean, what's our theories here? What do you think? I mean, I think it's possible. What about you?
I don't think it's a bad batch. I think the whole thing should be scrubbed. I think they need to figure out exactly what's going on, and they need to just go ahead and get it fixed. Yeah. I mean, if it is a hardware issue with the CPU itself, then either they need to reimburse money and send out a new chip, or get it fixed.
Now, apparently, this issue has been going on actually for 3 months. The article continues reads, 3 months waiting for Intel to come out with a solution, and now this is all you have to say. We know what you've already said. You know what? Never mind. This would be my last product from Intel, the user wrote. So apparently some user, I guess, saw this reply and is very furious, which they should be about this. Somebody said, someone said, I don't have major issues like everyone else is having. However, after Intel's response just now, they are not going to get another penny out of me. I'm going to sell Intel stuff and go buy Ryzen. Yet another user wrote, oh gosh. Yeah, and this looks bad for Intel. This really does.
What just came out on May 5th, just a couple days ago, Intel responds to the Core i7 7700K overheating issue, cluelessly suggests we stop overclocking. Here's the problem with that. The K version is designed for
to
overclocking.
overclocking. Yes,
Exactly. So
it is.
why would they sell a K version and then tell us don't overclock it? The whole point of people spending that extra bit of money for a K version is for the ability to overclock.
It is, yeah.
So
go ahead.
Get that fixed. That's
I do.
And it looks like, and this is where. Let me see if the 7700s are also having issues.
What about like the 7600s though? Because that's in the 7th generation as well, or is it just the 7700K specifically?
I think it's the 7700K specifically because that's what I'm hearing here is specifically for that one. Let me see. There was another thing going on, and Intel does not want to help me out today. They basically shrug off.
Either way, it's still whatever the answer may be or whatever the fix is going to be. Intel needs to get their crap together. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Okay, well, I'm ready to segue off this map. So Gertron, this was your article. Could you go ahead and please read this?
Okay.
Under the part that says Gertron stuffs. It literally says Gertron stuffs, guys, in the document today.
Okay. So, to start off with, Google Maps error leads to pizzeria customers to a random man's home. Basically, Google Maps, they like to update their stuff, just decided to go ahead and mark this guy's house as a pizzeria. So they're like, hey, there you go.
Okay.
I'm just like,
Google. It sounds
Google,
like
fix yourself.
It sounds like the issue that Apple had a while ago where they went to update their own proprietary map system and they had image warping. I don't know if you heard about that one.
No.
So basically, Apple had released an update to their own map system, and the render engine was so bad it like warped like whole like city addresses, and like the actual image looked terrible. How does Google Map just like really?
I know, right?
He says it is like getting your identity stolen. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Told Australian broadcaster Corp Radio, Darwin, your house has been stolen, and you put a pizza shop. My daughter has been approached by people wanting to know what time we open. He said, well, I don't know how many people have turned up at my house thinking it was a pizza place.
I would have ran to the store and gone ahead and got them some frozen pizza and just start selling frozen pizza for a bit.
Hey, making a side business. Yeah, I can see that being a thing. Sure.
And just say, well, Google said I was a business, so I figured everything was okay with that.
Okay. All right. Cool. And speaking of, we're gonna go ahead and keep rolling with this because this is so funny. And speaking of some more mismatched business, some one man had some real potty business. Gertrude, would you go ahead and read this article too?
Well, it looks like some firefighters had to rescue a woman as her hand got stuck in a toilet, and it was because the woman was attempting to fix a toilet that was clogged. And wow, I'm not entirely sure why she put her hand in there, but yeah. People, you don't put your hands in a toilet. You just don't. No, just don't. It's not a good idea.
And not only that, but they have to drain the water. They have to get. That's just ridiculous. I mean, if you got a problem, call a plumber.
Exactly.
That's what a plumber is for. That's what they
make plungers for as well. If you got a clog, start with a plunger. I'm sorry. I really want to know if she just started off, let me just stick my hand down there. I mean, if she started off with a plunger and was trying,
oh my gosh.
But still, if it was that bad, I'm sorry. Don't stick your hand in there. Just call a plumber. I mean, they put it. They have these devices. They call them snakes. and they stick it down, they wind it up, and it grabs whatever's in there, and it pulls it right out. It's a lot easier than sticking your hand down to it. I mean, do we know what's in a toilet in most cases?
Ew.
I mean, think about it. She probably had to wash her hands for a very long time.
Ew.
Just say it. Just
Not to mention, if you had to go to the bathroom while your head is in your toilet. Ew. Okay, and this goes back to our conversation from earlier about people not being educated. Like, what part of, oh, I think I'll stick my hand in my toilet. Did you not understand? Like, you don't. Okay, now. Okay, wait. Does that mean we have to start putting warning labels on toilets now?
Exactly. Then put a warning label. Is she gonna sue the toilet company? I mean, now we have to put a label. Don't put your hand in here.
Oh my!
This is not for your hand.
I
mean,
I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words. I want to laugh, but I almost am like too stunned to try. All right, moving on one more. Okay, so apparently a 12-year-old boy was chased by the police and finally was stopped after how many miles was this boy?
800 miles.
Oh my gosh. All right, so let's talk about this here. What's going on with this story?
Okay, so like I said, it was a 12-year-old boy who was attempting to drive across Australia by himself, drove more than 800 miles before the police arrested him.
Oh my gosh.
Now, as far as why, it looks like he was pulled over when the highway patrol officers noticed his vehicle's bumper was dragging across the ground.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's... All right, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Looks like the child happened to be traveling during day 2 of Operation Go Slow. Well, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've heard of it that like kids, have had to take on, situations where, they had to, take control of the wheel because either the parent, whatever, something happened to them and they had to, take control of the car and stuff. But I mean, 800 miles across Australia. I mean, what was this kid like think? How did didn't the parents notice the car was missing?
I would have thought they would have, but
like, what kind of parent just lets their kid just walk up? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna go for a drive across Australia. I mean, really?
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I know Australia may have different laws about the age at which you can start driving, but seriously.
I mean, how did the kid even know how to drive? He's 12 years old.
Well, in all fairness, I've been told some stories by some of the older generation of them as younger people, and they got to drive when they were about that age. So, yeah, it's possible that he just knew how to drive.
Well, I actually, I had this discussion actually, again with my mom the other day, and we were talking about kids, like some middle parts of the U.S. anyway, kids who work on farming equipment already knowing how to drive because they sat with their uncle or their father learning how to drive and stuff. And in most states in America, for whatever Lord knows reason why, 18 seems to be the appropriate age to let kids learn how to drive and stuff. But I mean, like, okay, so you let your kid, 12-year-old kid, waltz out of the house. Okay, he gets into the car, and he just starts driving. Now, my question is, how did he reach the pedals to the car? How did he, like, I mean, he's kind of short. I mean, what, does he know how to adjust the seating too?
Boy.
That is some irresponsible parenting right there. I'm sorry. That really is.
This is true.
All right. Well, speaking of more, I feel like it seems we have a bit of a theme with this whole thing between jobs to learning how to drive and stuff. So, would you take this next these next few sections, guys, are stories that Gertron submitted. So, Gertron, please read this one about 10 pounds of pot shipped to wrong house.
Okay, so as you probably guessed, there is a video along with that. Basically. Oh boy. Police say that 10 pounds of high-grade pot was shipped from Sacramento, California. The bundle stuffed in a plastic bucket, then into a cardboard box and delivered to a home on the 900 block of Long Acre Drive, according to the police. Wow. The investigators say the woman who got the package of pot is a church pastor. So...
Oh,
so wow. She opened it up inside her house, and
I bet it stank to high heaven.
Oh boy! It is important to note it is not her pot. She was not the one who ordered it. So,
well, of course not. Who orders pot? I mean, really?
Well, I mean, criminals order.
Well, yeah, obvious.
Potheads order pot.
Well, so. Obviously, yeah, but I mean,
yeah, I mean that's why they're called potheads.
Right, exactly. Okay, go on.
She's worried that somebody may try to come back and get their stash back. You know, I'd say I really hope they got insurance with UPS.
Yeah. Well,
Just saying.
mean, now, what she could do is she could always call the police, and if she kept everything in the box. Hello, Mr. Stavario, and good morning to you.
Stavario, hello.
You know, if she kept the shipment in the package with the address and everything, the police could actually use that as evidence for a drug bust. I mean, you know, that's not, you know, I don't think that's too far off that they could technically do that. Or they could set up a sting operation and have the police waiting at the house to pick up the pot that was shipped to this poor lady. I mean, I feel bad for the lady. Like, how do you react? First of all, you're probably going like, "Whoo, man, that stinks." Good morning, the true Cappy, and welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show, indeed. Well,
I mean, but like, you open up. Okay, so you open up the box with a box of pot that you did not order. And you're probably sitting, and I'd be sitting there going like, "Oh snap!" I mean,
exactly. So you know, there may be some that like, how much of this can I smoke before I need to call the police?
Oh my gosh!
Just saying.
That is crazy, dude. The fact that I mean, and I feel so bad for her, but I feel bad, but it's almost a blessing at the same time, ironically. You know, like you could just, you know, say, "Hey, police, you know, I received this package this morning and it's got this address. You know, what should I do?" I mean, that's what I'd be doing next, is calling the police to be like, "Dude, what do I do with this stuff? Because I didn't order it," you know? So, but man, I feel so sorry for her. I hope that turned out well. I don't know if it doesn't look like it actually. It's happened 3 times over the past couple of years, where criminals use someone else's address to mail drugs to themselves. They're now working with UPS to get surveillance video from the drop-off location in California to try to track down the sender. Oh, all right. See, there you go. They're already doing something. Cool.
You know, personally, I think at UPS and all those other mail service sites, I kind of think there should be drug-sniffing dogs there, just for the heck of it.
You know what? That's actually not a half bad idea.
Just sniffing the packages. I mean, they're not going to open it unless, of course, you know, the dog smells, "Hey, there's some pot in here."
Or some beef.
Well, if they're shipping beef by UPS, well, they got issues anyways.
But no, that's not a half bad idea, honestly, because, like, you know, people are, they're getting more uneducated, plugging our story from earlier. They're finding bad or illegal jobs, plugging this story. And, you know, it's getting to the point where, like, we're having to do really ridiculous stuff just to hold down, you know, either our criminal system or educational system or whatever. And there's just a lot of weird, funky stuff happening nowadays that, you know, is like calling for that kind of thing to be a thing. To, you know, I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be, you know, you could hire a couple. Yeah, I mean, granted, it's a lot of dogs to hire because I think about all the UPS facilities that there are. But drug sniffing dogs, I think, should be a thing at you know, any shipping company, no matter what it is, because who knows what's being shipped through the mail or the packaging systems that could lead to someone getting busted. You know, keep that stuff off our streets because it's becoming a problem. So, you know, yeah, I'm down for that idea, and I will push this with an executive order when I become president in 2021 or whatever. So no, I'm joking. I probably won't end up. I'll be like still way too young. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. So this last story. So go ahead, Gertrude, because I don't understand what's going on here. So you're gonna have to go ahead and fill this in here if you would, please.
Okay.
If you're on the document,
pull that back up here.
Oh, did you already close it?
Stanley the Watcher. Okay, so my girlfriend actually was the one that told me I should put this up here, and after looking into it, I was like, yeah, this is kind of cool. Okay, so if anybody's watched Marvel movies, Stan Lee is in almost every single one. He's usually just like a very small background character that just, you know, you just happen to see him. They're actually saying he may actually be secretly playing the same Marvel character in every movie, and that at some point he's actually going to show up as an actual Marvel character. Huh.
Now, first of all, who is Stan Lee? I've never heard of him actually.
Wait, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm feeling sad for you now.
I feel like his face looks a little bit familiar, but
you should know who Stan Lee is. I mean, he's the guy who's created all the Marvel characters. He is the reasoning behind every Marvel movie.
Well, okay, well that's why, because I don't actually watch Marvel's stuff that often, so that's why I wouldn't have heard of him. I'm sorry. I'm sure Cappy okay, Cappy is going nuts in the chat. It just got timed out. Oh man. What face? Seriously? Are you serious?
Stan Lee is just like, he's the guy. He's the one who created all the Marvel comics. I mean, how do you not know? I mean, I'm sorry now. If you were like a little kid, I'd be like, okay, that's fine. But how old are you again?
I'm 24. I mean, how
are you kidding me?
I mean, I don't watch Marvel. How am I supposed to know that?
Have you ever watched Spider-Man? Have you ever heard of the Hulk? The Wolverine?
Okay, yes, those I've heard of.
Stan Lee created them. That's him.
Okay.
He is the creator of all of that.
I just didn't know. I didn't know he was the creator. I didn't know who the creator was. I just thought it was just me. Hey, I don't follow this stuff, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think you just lost your presidential votes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so for those of you who do know who Stan Lee is and have watched all of or a lot of the Marvel movies that have been coming out, you've seen that Stan Lee shows up in almost all of them, again, as kind of a background character. You see him maybe once or twice. Doesn't really do much. You know, it's usually just some witty comment, and then that's it.
Kathy. Everybody in chat is like freaking out that I don't know what this is. I am so sorry. Wow. Wow. Oh, thank you, Gertrude. Insult to injury. Yes, thank you.
Indeed.
Oh man.
But okay. So,
seriously, move on. Let's go.
Stan Lee.
Has
been in all these Marvel movies. Again, small roles, but he does kind of have an ego. He wants to be in all of them. But they're saying that he might have been actually playing a secret character known as the Watcher. Don't know a whole bunch about the Watcher.
Uh-huh.
But basically, if that is the case, there may actually come a time when Stan Lee takes a bigger role in the movies versus just being there saying somebody comment. He might be there like, yeah, hello, I'm a superhero.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Or a supervillain. Yeah, whichever way that ends up working out. But,
so,
wow. I'm still trying to get over the fact you don't know who Stan Lee is.
well, I mean, like I said, like I know. That's actually an interesting theory. If he is the Watcher, I mean, you guys can like nerd out a little bit here if you want to. But the only reason why I wouldn't know that is because like I've never actually thought to look up who who the creator is, because I knew of DC, I knew of Marvel. I thought for some reason that like Marvel was just the company that just came up with the Marvel heroes. I didn't realize it was one individual that came up with it. So that's why I went, and I don't research this stuff anyway. So how else am I supposed to know that?
I kind of figured you'd at some point seen Spider-Man or the Hulk.
Yes,
or
I've seen
Iron
those.
Man.
Yes, I've seen those, but I wouldn't know specifically who the one person is.
Well, I mean, if you watch them, they all in their opening sequences, they all state who Stan Lee is. So
and now there's a whole like Marvel discussion going on in my Twitch chat. That is great. Oh man.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you and Cappy need to get on CC and just nerd out about Marvel heroes and stuff, and I'll just sit there going like,
I'm not gonna let you down on this for not knowing who Stan Lee is. I mean,
if I have to, I'll go look up a Wikipedia article about him if I have to.
Yes, you need to. In fact, okay, you're hearing it here first. Next week, Grid is in charge of coming up with something dealing with Stan Lee and what he's learned about Stan Lee.
Oh no. I officially won. Gertron. That is so ridiculous.
It doesn't have to be a long thing. It'll be a little 2-minute thing. You now know who Stan Lee is.
Oh my gosh.
Short biography. There you go.
Okay. I will never let him live this. Wow, thank you, the official I tag back Twitch for that. Wow, already planning my vengeance on you, Grid. Guys, come on, leave me. How am I supposed to know this stuff? I didn't know. No, seriously, I didn't know. I mean, gosh.
Everybody
just
knows
because
who
I'm a
Stan
gamer does
Lee
not
is.
necessarily do not assume that I know what that is or who that is.
Even more so, because you are a gamer, you should be into the
No.
Marvel and DC universe.
No, that doesn't necessarily mean that I would be more into it.
Well, you should know something about it.
I mean, there's a surprisingly look. My childhood was not like did not include Marvel's. Here. I mean, yes, I knew who the Hulk was. I know who Spider-Man was. I know who. Well, Batman's what, DC? Yeah, Batman's DC.
Batman's DC.
But not my fault. Okay, not my fault that I don't know that. So you built your computer and you are a gamer and you don't know Marvel. Let me see your nerd card. You're carding me now. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our show and stuff. Wow. Okay. I tag back is being really, really, really harsh on me now. Infectious, I think that's you, and that is Stop. I didn't know that. Okay. But anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much for making my life so much harder. Oh man. If you guys want to have like a Marvel discussion in my chat after stream or something, that's perfectly like fine with me. Or if you guys are on CCG, you can definitely go over there and talk it out and stuff. But we need to have a hard discussion on why you don't know Marvel. Oh man. Hi YouTube. And yes, of course, you guys can rewatch this broadcast all over again on YouTube. I think at some point we ought to start putting make it a second document for people to check out the articles again and stuff, because I know it's usually live and everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Gertron, as usual, it is always a pleasure, sir. Thank you for chatting and nerding out and making and like basically. Yeah, whatever. I hadn't started doing this, but I guess I will. Also, since iTagBack Twitch is here, please go check out iTagBack as well. They're the guys that help support me as a streamer. I hope after this show, I don't know. It depends on if I get. Yeah, I'm hopefully I'm still part of iTagBack. I don't know after this because apparently somebody's very, very mad at me now. Go check out iTagBack's official Twitch page and stuff, and yeah, so just thank you for all that. So until then, we'll catch you guys next Monday, and have a good rest of the week.
Indeed. See you guys later.